Before I go any further, I don't want people feel like I'm finding it personal joy in the fact that Ruel Reid and his conglomerate has been arrested. What I feel is a sense that this might be a moment in our history where we can look back at and say, yes, that was a starting point, that was a turning point, hopefully. And this is not just a drama piece being acted out to give a false sense of security. Many persons for a very long time has given up on the possibility of any form of justice being had as it relates to the corruption probe of irregularities and improprieties and cronyism and all malarkey and malpractice down at the Ministry of Education and many other agencies under the remits of the Ministry of Education. Some person did say, not now go on, arrest now go make. You want things done and you want it done now, but the reality is that law and order don't really work like how we want it to work in our head. And there are procedures, there are protocols, and sometimes a simple breach in procedure or protocol can cause the most guilty man to walk free. The investigators, led by the Financial Investigations Division and MOCA, decided that they would have bided their time and they would have put their ducks in a row, I suppose, and they felt it was time to make a move, and subsequently they would have organized 4 simultaneous raids in 3 different parishes early this morning, starting sometime about 5 a.m. reports are. So the raids would have been conducted in St. Catherine, in St. Andrew, and in St. Anne. A total of 5 individuals would have been arrested, and not only arrested, all 5 individuals would have been slapped with multiple charges sometime after 4 p.m. today. They are to appear in court tomorrow, where you know the possibility for bail exists, and all persons on the screen now would have seen law enforcement this morning. The thing is that out of the 6 persons on screen now, only 5 were arrested and charged. Former MP for St. Ann Northwestern, Othniel Lawrence, which is the fellow in the green shirt, his premises was also raided and searched, but he was not arrested. The FID head is saying that they are still interested in some people. Whether or not he's one, I do not know. The lady in the green is Councillor Kim Brown Lawrence of the Brownstone Division in St. Ann. Elder in the orange shirt, Nike shirt, he is Professor Dr. Fritz Pinnock, President of the Caribbean Maritime University. This young lady behind my very large head is purportedly the daughter of one Ruel Reid. Her name is Charlie Reid. This lovely lady beside Mr. Reid is his lovely wife, Miss Sharon Reid, and this is the great Ruel Reid. Police arrest Ruel Reid, his wife, his daughter, the president of the Caribbean Maritime University, and the Brownstone Council. So former Education Minister Ruel Reid, his wife Sharon, his daughter Charlie, along with President of the Caribbean Maritime University, Professor Fritz Pinnock, and Brownstone Division Councillor Kim Brown Lawrence were taken into police custody this morning, Wednesday the 9th of October, in a pre-dawn raid by detectives from the major organized and anti-crime corruption agency, MOCA. The operation at Mr. Pinnock's home would have lasted some 4 hours. Reports are that the operation at former Minister Reid's home would have taken some 7 hours. I don't know how long the ones done by St. Ann took. It is understood that MOCA detectives also conducted raids at the St. Ann home of former Member of Parliament for St. Ann Northwestern and Caribbean Maritime Advisor Othniel Lawrence, and he was not arrested, as I said earlier. So the former Education Minister and some agencies of the Ministry of Education, including the Caribbean Maritime University, have been under corruption probe led by MOCA and the Financial Investigation Division, with Reid being the main focus of said investigation. Reid would have resigned on the 20th of March this year amid the corruption allegations. And on Tuesday now, and this kind of dicey, on Tuesday, October 8th, which is of this week, Pinnock was sent on special leave with immediate effect pending the outcome of the probe. Because remember that Pinnock had gone on voluntary leave of absence in July, I think. He said to facilitate the probe that was ongoing down by CMU. He would have had an extension of said leave of absence in August, I think. However, he would have assumed his post as president of the CMU on Monday. He would have met with the board of directors on Tuesday and they would have sent him on leave again immediately. Pinnock was sent on special leave with immediate effect pending the outcome of the probe. That was Tuesday. He was arrested the following morning, this morning. Law enforcement officers swooped down on Reid's St. Andrew home at 5 o'clock this morning. At the same time, they arrived at Pinnock's Elsha home in Portmore, St. Catherine, reportedly in unmarked vehicle. Both men asked that they be allowed to contact their lawyers as the investigators presented warrants to search their premises.
No. Not even a previous member.
I think this is one of Reid's lawyer. I think her name is Caroline Chuck. I don't know if she's related to Delray, but that is her name. Reid is also being represented by Hugh Wildman. Miss Kim Brown Lawrence is being represented by Townsend. So in July, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Paula Llewellyn, found that 4 criminal laws may have been breached by key players in the Ruel Reid Caribbean Maritime University corruption case. In addition to the breaches of the 4 criminal laws, the DPP said there were possibly 2 criminal law offenses and possible administrative breaches. She also recommended further investigation but said that the decision whether to arrest and charge any of the accused and place them before the court rested with the police and other investigative bodies. The FID head, Robin Sykes, had called the DPP's opinion solid, saying it would guide further investigations. He says work is taking place to put the matter before the court ASAP. He also suggested that more players are being targeted. DPP Paula Llewellyn says her office was not further consulted prior to the move this morning to take Reid and company into custody. Reid's wife, Sharon, so I just give you some background on his wife and his daughter now. So Reid's wife, Sharon, was employed to the Caribbean Maritime University as the manager of legal affairs. She has been on the CMU's payroll since July 2017. When the education minister was pressed a few months back as to how come she ended up at CMU, persons would have questioned her qualifications and was there any form of nepotism related to her being employed to the Caribbean Maritime University. Some would at the time said she's a trained lawyer. So his wife, that is Ruel's wife, was employed over by CMU as manager of legal affairs. His daughter now, which is Cheryl, which is that young lady with that very bright smile, she now, based on my research, was a special projects and strategic initiatives intern at the CMU from June of 2017 to May of 2018. Arrested president of the Caribbean Maritime University this morning protested as law enforcement officers seized a laptop among other items during an operation at his Elsha St. Catherine house. "It is not even mine. It is my daughter's," Pinnock said, as it relates to the laptop. As the police sought to seize the laptop computer at Pinnock's home at daybreak, his lawyer also intervened, telling the cops that electronics were not covered under the warrant, to which the cops replied, "Challenge it in court." So during the 4-hour operation, investigators searched a Suzuki Vitara, a Suzuki Jimmy, a Honda Element, and a Mitsubishi Pajero at Pinnock's house and confiscated several documents. The Pajero is registered to the Caribbean Maritime University, because you know him have company vehicle. Honda Accord Sport, which was also parked at the property, was said to be owned by someone else. Approximately 9:20 a.m., Pinnock was taken away by police personnel in unmarked vehicles. This is another video where vehicles were observed leaving or driving out of Ruel Reid's home. What a fall from grace. They are not guilty until so proven by the court, but the reality is that reputations, you take a lifetime to build them, and they are gone within. Multiple criminal charges have been laid on Reid, Pinnock, his wife, his daughter, and counsellor for the St. Ann Division 1, Kim Brown Lawrence. Multiple criminal charges were this afternoon filed against all 5 suspects picked up in the raids this morning. So the fired Education Minister Ruel Reid, his wife, and daughter, or one of his daughters, I'm not sure how many children he have, President of the Caribbean Maritime University, Professor Fritz Pinnock, and the JLP Counsellor for the Brownstone Division in Northwest St. Ann, Kim Brown Lawrence. Among the crimes Reid is accused of committing are breaches of the Corruption Prevention Act and the Proceeds of Crime Act, POCA. The former Education Minister has also been charged with conspiracy to defraud. Similar charges were laid on Reid's wife, Sharon, his daughter, Cheryl, and Professor Pinnock. Counsellor Brown Lawrence is accused of conspiracy to defraud and possession of criminal property. All 5 were charged this afternoon by investigators. This now was a picture taken. Those persons under that leopard print or tiger print, I don't know what kind of print in him. Ruel Reid, his wife and his daughter. So them did cover them head like.